You're watching the Isaiah Factor, Uncensored.
Men truly just need to extend their emotional vocabulary so they can flourish and have meaningful, healthy relationships. But instead, y'all listening to these Kevin Samuel ass and it's leaving you 50 and alone.
You just heard from Shabri Rawls. She's a licensed professional counselor in Cleveland, and this same video cost her her job. The passionate rant was inspired by an article written about men becoming more lonely. Her commentary has also ironically started more online debates, specifically about mental health, therapists, and black men. Let's talk about it tonight.
So Todd, taking a look at those videos, was it what she said or how she said it?
I think it was both. I don't have a problem with her message. I have a problem with her delivery from just a black male's perspective. But from what I've learned, what she said by stereotyping black men and maybe having some prejudice in her language, she violated a lot of the ethics and the rules of somebody with an LPC license. So in that regards, she shouldn't be surprised that she faced some type of discipline and somebody called her out. She did overgeneralize African-American men, but African-American men stereotypically in the past didn't seek therapy like we probably should have. So I don't have a problem with what she said. I have a problem with her overgeneralizing and the anger in her tone. It seemed like she had something personal against some of these black men. So it's just the rhetoric, you know what I mean? It's the way she speaks and stuff like that. A lot of people have said, well, what about Kevin Samuels and his rhetoric towards black women? My only response to that would be, as a life coach, I don't think he has the same responsibilities as a counselor and just being a YouTube personality when he was alive. So that's where she made her mistake. She has a professional obligation to follow the rules of her profession and not necessarily just say anything to get TikTok views and TikTok likes.
Dr. Boone, your thoughts on it?
I really agree with my counterpart. Professionally, when I see an African-American male client come in, it warms my heart because I don't see that as often, but there's a certain way to say everything. And, with ACA Code of Ethics, American Counseling Association Code of Ethics, we have a very stern set of guidelines that we have to abide by. And even outside of those code of ethics, we are expected to create a safe space for any client to really, tell us their issues and help us have them work through their issues in a safe space. And I really don't think she created that for any black male who was even considering therapy.
Dr. Walker, let's hear from you.
Yes, I had a problem with her presentation as well as the content of her presentation. I thought that it was troubling. I thought that it was really biased towards African-American men. And I also felt that she lacked cultural competence. As a university professor in the area of counselor education and even as a therapist, I found it very, very troubling. I think she lacks social emotional development, where individuals learn how to accept and understand the perspectives of others. So I think she did the public a disservice. And I think that type of rhetoric and presentation will lead to a decrease in the amount of African-American men seeking mental health services. So I really think she definitely needs an intervention to learn more constructive ways to educate the public in the areas of mental health.
And Todd, did you see her response after being terminated? It was as if she needs counseling now.
Yeah, and that's what everybody said. It seems like she has some mental health struggles, and I'm not making light of that. Some people said it looks like she might have gone through a bitter breakup, but like both of the guests said, it's not going to make black men want to open up. Jasmine said it, and my fellow brother right here said it as well. As a black man, personally, I've had trouble opening up, especially to a woman. I was always taught that you're supposed to be that rock. You're supposed to be that strength. You can't show any type of weakness. You have a head injury, shake it off in football. And I had to explain myself one time. I cried around a woman when my grandmother died. You know what I mean? Cried like a baby. And I had to explain, your boy don't cry like this, yada, yada, yada. So that's how men see emotion. We're not taught at a young age to show emotion. It's seen as weakness. So for the sister to do that, like both of my counterparts said, it's going to make black men not want to open up even more. And that creates more problems because Black men have issues. Black men deal with a lot of trauma in this world, and we do need that safe space, whether it's with a counselor, whether it's with a significant other, a family member. So we need our sisters to prop us up, and we don't always do a good job of propping them up. So we do take blame for that too, but we need that support, and we don't necessarily need the degradation.
Dr. Boone, did she do irreparable harm when it comes to bringing African-American men into the counselor's chair?
Irreparable, no, she definitely did harm. I think where she made a major mistake is because she is of the culture, she got a little too comfortable and a little too familiar. She lost her professionalism. I don't know if there was some counter transference going on where she had experienced some things towards the Black male population and she was projecting, but she did harm. And there's a code of ethics that we have to avoid doing harm to clients emotionally and every other way. And just because she's an African-American woman does not mean she is exempt from being discriminatory. It was extremely discriminatory towards a different gender and towards Black men. And so she did a great deal of harm. And, you know, I want to mention, because it's so stigmatized for Black men to be emotional and to express and to work through these hard moments, you know, she created a very dangerous zone where, do I want to go now? Is that how all Black female therapists feel? So it kind of creates a mistrust in the therapeutic world, potentially.
And Dr. Walker, in the last 30 seconds that we have here, getting too comfortable, especially on social media, can it send you down that rabbit hole?
I think so. I think any time that you are addressing the public, I think you need to be mindful of your audience. And as the other guest mentioned, do no harm. I mean, we're taught that in our various counseling programs, to do no harm, to be culturally competent. I would challenge this individual to learn more about African-American men. I think that's critically important. A lot of times people make comments, you know, out of ignorance, you know, or maybe out of their anecdotal experiences. But it would be wise of her to do more research and try to learn more about African-American men.